श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम श्रीशैलाभिजनाम्बुराशिशिरं श्रीकृष्णतातात्मजं श्रीशैलान्वय देवनाथ सुदय प्राप्तागमान्तद्वयं पादाब्जे नरसिंहताते गुरोर्न्यस्तात्मरक्षाभरं विद्वद्वृन्दचकोरचन्दिरमहं रामानुजार्यं श्रये श्रीरङ्गसुधा मधुसमास्वादयन्तं श्रीरङ्गमहिषी पदपङ्कजात्मजं सुलभाश्रयं सदा मोदसिद्धमद्भुतं भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुम् अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणां मम मातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् गुरुविज्ञानमन्दिरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, we'll commence our session today. I am a little under the weather, so please bear with me for today's session. I guess many of you probably are also entertaining the guests in the form of cold and cough. So you are also free to join me in chorus. So in the last session, we were in Dvavimsha Sargah, 22nd Sargam, called Masadvayadhikaranam. And it is quite aptly named because Ravana is giving an ultimatum, isn't it? That you have 2 more months to choose. It's like a multiple choice question with only one choice. A, B, C, D. Ravana, 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 Ravana. I am your husband. Choose me as your choice. That is what he is giving her as the ultimatum, saying, I can't bear anymore. 2 more months is what I'll give you. Otherwise, you will face a gory end. In fact, he says that you will become my breakfast and all that. In spite of that, of course, towards the end of Ravana's speech, there are some of the good Samaritans among Ravana's wives who try to come and console Sita, right? In one sense, we feel that Sita Mata is so elated that she is the one she is the mother of the universe. She has to console us, isn't it? But there is a human dimension to it. Adiyan's view on that is that this is where the Lord tests us, okay? That how close are you in terms of the heart, matching with that of the Lord himself or the Lord herself, right? So she's seeing who among these Rakshasis is somebody who is displaying at least a fraction of what is known as a Sattva Gunam. So, and they only had to reciprocate a little bit and they will all get deliverance as they call it, right? Moksha will be assured for them Just if you align yourself a little bit, that's a huge magnet there. Iron filings have to just orient themselves. That's all that she probably wanted. That is my personal opinion. There's a human dimension to it, which is a gory figure in the form of Ravana, right? Even if he breathes, there will be commotion there. So what to talk of his anger, and he is talking loud in a completely baritone voice, probably. And anybody hearing that will shudder, isn't it? So it is quite meet and proper that there is somebody who consoles Sita, saying, "Don't worry, he will take care of this." And she starts to not lose her cool, isn't it? She once again goes back to the previous messages she had given him, right? And she also tries to, Sita Mata also tries to scare Ravana. Tata dviradavadramastam nicha shashavat smritaha. You will be like a rabbit in front of a lion. You have done a shameless thing. Just because Rama and Lakshmana were not there in the scene, you escaped. If at all they were to get a whiff of your presence here, you will run away like a rabbit in front of a lion. And then she goes on to say that you are such a horrible person. You have spoken ill of me. Forget about your actions. Why are your eyes not popping out and dropping on the ground? Why is your tongue? Right? Kshitauna patite kasman mam anarya nirikshitaha. Katham vyahrato mam te na jihva vyavashiryate. Why is it not falling on the ground? That is what she is asking. Imagine Ravana is listening to all of this, isn't it? Vyavashiryate. And finally she says that I am enough for your downfall. In fact, I can convert you into ashes right away. Bhasmarha tejasa. Bhasmarha tejasa. You deserve to be converted into ashes, solid to solid form again, ash. But the only reason why I am not doing is asandeshattu ramasya tapasas chanupalanat. I'm following tapas now. I'm following penance. That is one aspect. The other is I do not have proper communication from my Lord to convert you into Bhasma. So therefore you have escaped my wrath just now. But remember, the moment Rama and Lakshmana notice you, your end is very, very near. And she again says that I'm so-and-so's daughter-in-law, etc. Okay, now let us continue from where we left off in the last class. I think we were in sloka number 21. Napahartam aham shakya tvaya ramasya dhimataha vidhistava vadhartaya vihito natra samsheha. It is destiny that perhaps is in your favor, that it is not me who is going to kill you, but you will eventually get killed by Rama. Shurena dhanada bhratra balai samuditena cha apohya ramam kasmadhi darachoryam tvaya kritam. So Sita is saying, Shurena dhanada bhrata. Dhanada is Kubera, one who gives dhanam is called dhanadaha. Tasya bhrata, you are the brother of Kubera. We are going to see the lineage of Ravana, the great lineage of Ravana in the next sargam. But here Sita Mata is saying, you are the bhrata of Kubera, and you also are a Shura. Balaihi samuditena, you are also endowed with a lot of forces and strength, right? It is really shameless. Tvaya Ramam apohya kasmat darachoryam kritam. Darachoryam is stealing away somebody else's wife, right? Dara is wife. Darachoryam kritam. So she's saying that you seem to be somebody who is valorous, and you are endowed with all forces. You are also quite wealthy. You are the brother of Kubera. In spite of all this, you have really done a meek and cowardly act of taking away somebody else's wife. That is enough to incite Ravana to speak further. Sitaya vachanam shutva Ravano rakshasadhipaha vivirtya naine krure Janaki manvavekshata. Having listened to Sita's vachanam, he is a rakshasadhipa. What did he do? He started to act like Shivaji Ganeshan. Vivirtya naine krure. He started to roll his eyes, right? And I'm not able to do that. But with cruel eyes, or maybe Nambiar, probably I should not invoke Shivaji. Janakim Anvavekshata. She looked at Janaki. Neelajimuta Sankasho Mahabhuja Shirodharaha Simha Sattva Shriman Deepta Jihva Gralochanaha. Next 3-4 slokas are for the art director, whoever is taking this movie. Describing Ravana in detail here again. Okay. Neelajimuta Sankasha, resemble dark clouds. Okay. Mahabhuja Shirodharaha. He has strong arms, and Shirodharahan, that which holds the head. What is it that holds the head? It is the neck. Yeah. So he has a Maha neck, great neck. Okay. Simha Sattva Gatihi. He had the gait of a lion. Okay. And Srimane, he is quite prosperous. Deepta Jihva Gralochanaha. His Jihva is kind of blazing. His eyes are blazing. Lochana. As well as his tongue is also blazing. You can imagine, right? He's like a dinosaur at that point of time. Chalagramukuta pramshuhu chitramalyanulepanaha Raktamalyambaradharaha Taptangada Vibhushanaha. What other things are there on his body that he can describe? Chalagra Makuta Pramshuhu. So he has a Makutam Naka Kiritam. Yeah? The Kiritam that he was wearing, the crown, is quite long and unsteady. Probably because he is shaking in anger. That's why the Kiritam is also shaking. Chitramalyanu lepanaha. He is wearing different types of garlands, right? Which have anulepanaha, right? Which have been smeared with fragrance. You know, in India, it's quite common to welcome people with sandalwood garlands. You know, my father, wherever he went, our house used to be full of such garlands. But we later realized it's not real sandal. They would have just sprayed the fragrance on a proper wooden mala, right? But in this case, this fellow is quite rich, isn't he? He's Kubera's brother. So there was no fake that you can do in front of Ravana. Tat Sangada Vibhushanaha. He is wearing different types of ornaments and armlets and everything, which go along with whatever else he was wearing. So he had a proper consultant for his makeup and all that. Okay, not like us. Shroni Sutrena Mahata Mechakena Susamritaha Amurtotpadanadhena Bhujageneva Mandaraha. Amurtotpadanadhena. When we remember the churning of the milk ocean, isn't it? Kshirasagaram. That is during Kurma Avataram. Isn't it? Am I right? So you have Mandara Parvatam, which volunteered to say, you can use me as the thing that you can churn the ocean with. But they used a serpent, which is known as, what is the name of the serpent? GK question.
Vasuki.
Vasiki, yes. And Vasiki is a Pullinga Shabdam. Please don't use it for daughters. If somebody is named Vasiki here, don't worry. You have no option. But Vasiki is a Pullinga Shabdam. It represents a male serpent. Okay. Bhujagena, Mandara Haiva Mahata Mechakena Shroni Sutrena Susamvritaha. So he had tied something, a thread around his hips. Arnal Kodi, what do we call it? Mekhala. It is called Mekhala in Sanskrit. We are all supposed to wear different things on our body, not for no reason. You know, he was wearing a makutam, right? He was wearing a kavacham. And this Mekhala is very, very important. Is in Subhaga Mekhaleyam. Anybody who is doing the Avani Avittam properly, they would have heard of this particular line, right? Yendrupta paribhadamana sammaru punatina agate vishwasi bhadra sumanasyamana. When they tie in those days, they would make the mekhala with darbha grass. I don't know how many of you have seen. They tie it in a proper manner, and it is tied around the waist. There is a reason why you do that. In our body, there are pancha pranas, isn't it? Apart from our spouses, there are 5 other pranas. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. And they have free sancharam in our body. The person who controls this is our mind. And who is the controller of the mind? The Atman. So if the Atman is sleeping, all these other fellows, they will start dancing. There is no boss around. So they will go wherever they want. In the natural order of things, prana is supposed to go upwards and apana is supposed to go downwards, right? So anybody who is having constipation, Anusha will agree with me, they are supposed to do, what is the name of that asana? Yeah, you are on mute.
Into me, Apanasana.
Apanasana. So the Apanasana is something which forces the Apana Vayu downwards, okay? And it ensures that your bowels are all clean. So our great system of Sanatana Dharma originated with Vedas, but Upavedas such as Ayurveda and Yoga Shastra, they all go hand in hand. They ensure that we are all hale and healthy. There was no need, sorry, Dr. Ravi, there was no need for antibiotics in those days. No, people were hale and healthy simply by following natural routines. And apart from the food and dietary requirements, it was important to cover our body with various ornaments, right? I am not talking on behalf of Lalita Jewelers, okay? But it is important to have ornaments at the right places in our body, right? Sometime back I saw in WhatsApp, there was a lady, I could not make out her face. Her full body was covered with gold. So that is not how one should get yourself decorated with ornaments. So there is an ornament that is required for the head to keep your head in control. Okay. The reason for placing these ornaments is that they exercise a little bit of pressure or stress at that point. Okay. And that helps in the proper sancharam of the 5 pranas in our body. That is the reason why they are worn. And you are supposed to wear it with the right level of stress. Romba tight up prana enge poidum. So you have to be careful how to wear those ornaments. You know, you are supposed to wear bangles. In fact, men folk also used to wear, you know, the bangles were, if you, I don't know if there is any Reddy on call here, but you know, if somebody is a good Reddy from Andhra Pradesh, you will see their boy, even the men folk will wear proper necklaces, bangles, and so on, right? As well as if you are married, then you wear the Nupuram, isn't it? Metti. Likewise, the important thing is Vodhyanam. And while the, you know, one may wonder, these all look very Rajasic, isn't it? Somebody who is after materialistic things is what to do this. But in the olden days, even if you do not have money, you can replace these things with cheaper alternatives which have the same effect on the body. So instead of having a golden Udyanam, you can have silver. Do not have any other materials. Okay. You need to have a mekhala made of darbha grass. And that is something which will give you enough pressure around your hip so that you can have the Udyana Bandhanam. And the Udyana Bandhanam will help the prana and apana to be in a certain direction. And that direction is very important to drive the jiva. Okay. So there is a lot of science behind why we do all of this. And this gentleman here, Ravana, he is wearing something which is dark in color, a dark thread around his waist. That is what is described here. Sorry, is there some comment I should see? A list of ornaments that I can forward. Sure. I will send the list separately to you. And maybe to Bhadra, not to you. Okay. Sloka number 27. It's a very, if you look at a person who is properly ornamented, right, be it a male or a female, you will immediately fall in awe and respect and love for that person. That's the reason why we decorate the murti of the lords at least. If we cannot wear, at least by taking donation from many people, let's at least decorate the Lord. The moment you see a proper murti which is decorated with all the ornaments at the right place, you look at Trivenkadamudiyan in Tirupati, for example, right? The moment you look at his divine murti, which has all the abharanams in the right places, you will lose yourself. So that's the effect that these things will have on our mind. May we adopt such Aryan things, noble things in our life. Dvabhyam saparipurnabhyam bhujabhyam rakshaseshwarah shusubhe achala sankashah sringabhyam iva mandarah. I should thank Ravana for bringing these points out. But, he is adopting. See, these things are Aryan in nature. The only thing is the man wearing all this is completely Rajasic. There is nothing we can do about it. But what he is adopting is Arya things. Achala Sankashaha. He resembled a mountain. Rakshaseshwaraha Paripurnabhyam Tabhyam Bhujabhyam. His shoulders were completely full ornamented with different types of ornament. Shringabhyam Mandaraha Saha Sushubhe. In fact, the shoulders themselves resembled Mandara mountain. Such was how his body resembled. Taruna Aditya Varnabhyam Kundalabhyam Vibhushitaha Rakta Pallava Pushpabhyam Ashokabhyam Ivachalaha. Further, he Tarunaditya Varnabhyam Kundalabhyam Vibhushita. He was wearing kundalas, the earrings, right? And the earrings resembled the color of the rising sun, right? Tarunaditya Varnabhyam Vibhushitaha Rakta Pallava Pushpabhyam Ashokabhyam Achalaha iva Stitaha. So he was, wearing Rakta Pallava Pushpabhyam, red leaves and flowers. Ashokabhyam Achalaha iva Stitaha. So he stood like a mountain, okay, with the two Ashoka trees. That is perhaps his shoulders. That is what is described here, with red leaves and flowers in the form of earrings. So that is how one could see Ravana at that point of time. Sakalpa Vriksha Pratimo Vasanta Iva Murtiman Smashana Chaitya Pratimo Bhushitopi Bhayankaraha. Yeah, this is exactly what Valmiki is saying, isn't it? Bhushitopi Bhayankaraha. Kalpa Vriksha Pratimaha. He resembled Kalpa Vriksham. Okay. Kalpa Vriksham, wish wielding tree. Whatever you ask, the tree will give, isn't it? Escaping from your family. So Kalpa Vriksha Pratimaha Saha Murtiman Vasantaha Iva. So he was the personification of Vasanta Rutu. Very interesting analogies here, right? If you are to appreciate the form and structure of Ravana, perhaps he was quite handsome, right? And he was wearing all the ornaments and things like that, right? But the description the Kavi is giving, Smashana Chaitya Pratimaha Bhushitopi Bhayankaraha. Just like you have a Smashana Chaitya Pratimaha means you build certain structures, memorial structures in the Smashanam, isn't it? So this was probably prevalent even back then. It is not something which has come new. And even in Sanatanam Dharmam, this was there. So people would erect memorial structures in the Rudra Bhumi, right? And decorate that also. So one should not fall for it because it may look very nice, but the place where it is present is Rudra Bhumi. In a similar manner, Bhushitopi Bhayankaraha, that is Ravana. Although he was decorated properly, he's a Bhayankara person. Anayena arthahina manovrate nashayamyahamadhyatvam surya sandhyami vaujasa. Did I miss one slokam? Avekshamaano vaidehim kopasamraktalochanaha uvacha ravana sitam bhujangaiva nishwasan. Kopasamrakta samlochanaha. So his eyes are reddish in anger. Vaidehim avekshamaana. He started to look at Vaidehi. Bhujanga iva nishwasan. He was breathing like a snake. Sitam idam vachanam abravit. He spoke to Sita in this manner. What did he say? Anayena abhisampannam. Right? Arthahinam anuvrate. You are somebody who is adopting the wrong policy of being a chaste lady. Right? In spite of being lured by me to become my wife, you are adopting all kinds of things in your life right now, being a chaste woman, penance and all that. That does not suit you. However, adhyatvam suryaha ojasa sandhyamiva nashayami. Just like the sun dispels the darkness, right? Or twilight or dawn. In a similar manner, I am going to make you rid of all your luster. That is what Ravana is saying. Sun dispels the morning twilight with his lust. That is Suryaha Ojasa Sandhyam Iva Nashayami. So Sandhya is the column which is in between the day and the night, isn't it? And at that time, if you look at the skies, it will have a certain color. It will not fully have the sunlight. But the moment sun emerges further, that Sandhya will disappear. In a similar manner, you are going to lose your luster very soon. Ityuktva Maithilim Raja Ravana Shatru Ravanaha Sandidesha Tatas Sarva Rakshasir Ghora Darshanaha. So Raja Shatru Ravanaha. Why is he called as Ravana? Ravana is somebody who will make us cry. That is the meaning, literal meaning of the word Ravana. Okay. And he is a Shatru Ravanaha. He can make his enemies cry. That is his ability, because he is a torturous person. He spoke in a completely terrifying voice, and he started to delegate his work to all the Rakshasis there. So he looked at all the Ghora Darshanaha, very fearful to look at Rakshasis, and he started to address them now. So you're going to look at a mini Sahasranamam of those Rakshasis. I'll quickly go through their names now. Ekakshim Ekakarnam cha Karna Pravaranam Tata Gokarnim Hastikarnim cha Dambakarnim Akarnikam Hastipadya Swapadyo cha Gopadim Padachulikam Ekakshim Ekapadim cha Pruthupadim Apadikam Atimatra Shirogrivam Atimatra Kuchodarim Atimatrasya Netrancha Dirghajihvam Ajihvikam Anasikam Simhamukhim Gomukhim Sukari Mukhim Yatha madvashaga Sita. Okay, I'll pause there. So these are all the names of various Rakshasis there. We have gone through this earlier also. Many of them have one eye, half eye, 1.5 eyes, 3/4 eyes. Then he goes on to the ears, right? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. And then goes on to their feet. What type of feet they have? Some are the feet of elephants, donkeys, horses, right? All the animals you can think of. And then the nature of the foot itself. So one had broad feet, some have narrow feet, some have no feet. Then their chest, and all these things are described. Dirghajihvam, some of them have long tongues, some have no tongues, some have very little tongue. Anasikam, some have no nose and some have multiple noses. That is also there. Some had lion face, Simhamukhim, Gomukhim, and then finally Sukari Mukhim, the boar or pig type of Nasikam. So these are all the different Rakshasis who are surrounding Sita. In fact, Ravana is not required only, isn't it? இப்படி இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிற பக்கத்தில் இருந்துட்டான்னா that itself is a torture for you. So he now, Ravana is addressing all of them. What is he trying to address them? Yatha madvashaga Sita kshipram bhavati janaki tatha kuruta rakshasyaha sarva kshipram sametya cha. He is ordering them. Okay? Your duty is to make Sita understand properly and make her obey to what I am asking her to. Rakshasyaha Janaki Kshipram yatha madvashaga bhavati. You should make her under my control. Madvashaga Kshipram, very quickly. That is your task now. So you all discuss among yourself, right? Somebody with no tongue will speak to somebody with no ear. What will they discuss, right? So they will happily discuss something which is quite ferocious, and they will start to address Sita shortly. What else does Ravana say? Pratilomanulomaischa samadhanadi bhedanaihi avarjayata vaidehim dandasyodhyamanena cha. You make her convince of my whatever I am asking by using all types of means, favorable means, anuloma or pratiloma. And samadhanadi bhedanaihi, try all types of mechanism. Samadhana, bhedam and dandam. Dandasya, even danda you are authorized to use. And ensure that vaidehim avarjeta, you attract vaidehi towards me. Iti prasti samadishya rakshasendra punah punah kamamanyu paritatma janakim paryatarjayate. He kept repeating this again and again. Isn't it? Probably many of them may not even listen to him, given their forms. Rakshasendra punah punah prati samadishya. He repeated this instruction. Kama manyu paritatma. Right? This is the defining nature of somebody like Ravana. He is under the control. He thinks he is controlling the world, but he is under the control of Kama and Manyu. Anybody remembers where these two phrases come? These two words?
Kamo Karshi, Manyu Karshi.
Very good. Fantastic. 100 marks. So when we do the Upakarma, right, properly, then you will understand this mantram is used. Om Kamo Karshit Manyura Karshit. There is a further phrase which is usually not repeated, which is called Naham Karshe. It is not I who has done it. It is Kama and Manyu, right? These are the two enemies for us, anger as well as Kamam. And that is something which has completely occupied Ravana. Kama Manyu Paritatma. He further started to Paryatarjayate. He started to threaten Sita even more. Upagamya tatakshipram rakshasi dhanyamalini parishwajya dashagrivam idam vachanam abravite. Among all the demonesses there is a what do you call it, influencer in Instagram, something like that. She is the fan number 1 for Ravana, right? Why is he after this lady Sita? I am there அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஈகோட போறார் ராட்சச. What did she say? Tata, her name is Dhanya Malini. Rakshasi, what did she do? Shighram upagamya dashagrivam. She embraced Ravana parishvajya idam vachanam abravit. Maya krida maharaja sitaya kim tavanaya vivarnaya kripanaya manushya rakshaseswara. What the hell are you doing, Ravana? You have somebody like me in front of you, right? Forget Sita and think of me, Maharaja. Maya krida rakshaseswara vivarnaya kripanaya. This is somebody who is very pale. Look at Sita. She is pale. She has not had food for so many days. And she looks very unclean and wretched right now, Kripanaya. And she is also a Manushi, isn't it? She's not a Rakshasi. Why do you want to make her your wife? No namasya Maharaja nadivyan bhogasattaman vidadhatyamara sreshtha tava bahu balarjitam. She is somebody who doesn't deserve all that you have spoken just now, Maharaja. Amara Sreshta is giving, okay? So you can call somebody with anything, any qualification. You are the great among immortals. Bahu balarjitane divyana bhoga sattana asyahana vidadati. Please don't give her any of the riches that you have acquired because of your valor. That is what she's saying, okay? She's probably the jealous among the ladies there. Akamam kamayanasya shariramupatapyate Ichantim kamayanasya pritirbhavati shobhana. So she is somebody who is completely devoid of kama, akamam. Kamayanasya shariram upatapyate. Ichantim kamayanasya shobhana pritihi bhavati. So she is trying to give some sense of advice to Ravana, saying, you are full of kama in your body now, right? So for such a person, you are not supposed to seek a lady who is completely devoid of kama, right? What will give you shobhanam is to look at me, who am also equally desirous like you. Okay, forget about Sita. That's what she's saying. Eva muktastu rakshasya samukshiptastato bali prahasan megha sankasho rakshasas sanyavartata. Having heard her words, what did Ravana say? He resembled a fierce dark cloud. Okay, he turned away and he started to laugh heartily. That is what happened there. Prahasan megha sankashaha rakshasaha nyavartata. He went back. Okay, he said, Adamuttale, what do you think? Sita is very close to my heart. I love her a lot. That is perhaps what he was thinking in his mind. Although she may be pale right now, I definitely don't desire you. Prastitas sadashagrivaha kampayanniva medinim jwalat bhaskara varnabham pravivesha niveshanam. So this is the beating retreat of Ravana, right? This is he heard the last words from this lady, Rakshasi, and he Vyangyama sarcastically he smiled, turned his body away, and Saha Medinim Kampayanniva. He started the way he walked, the earth around him started to shake. Jwalat Bhaskara Varnabham Niveshanam Pravivesha. He entered his house, which was shining, resplendent like the Bhaskara or sun. Deva Gandharva Kanyascha Naga Kanyascha Sarvataha Parivarya Dashagrivam Vivishuhu Tad Gruhottamam. This is exactly, so if you remember 2-3 sarkas ago, Kavi described how Ravana entered right? Ravana was followed by various Deva Gandharva Stris. Now he is returning to his palace, and all those Deva Gandharva, Naga, Kinnara, etc., they all started to follow him back to the palace. Samaithilim dharma paramavastitam pravepamanam paribhatsya ravanah vihaya sitam madanena mohitaha someva veshma praviveshva bhaswaram. Ravanah dharma param avasthitam. Sita is somebody who is also a dharmapara. She is after dharma only. Okay, in spite of all means samadana bhedam dandam that he has used, she has not deterred herself from the path of dharma. That is the biggest lesson for all of us, right? We should not be afraid of following dharma because it has a lot of value. And pravepamana, of course, she was trembling in fear. Maithilim paribhatsya, he abused her to the maximum possible, right? You are not supposed to speak like that to anybody, right? Forget about a dharmatma like Sita Mata. But what was his state? Madanena mohitaha. So his heart is still beating for Sita Mata. That was his state then. Paswaram swam veshmaiva pravivesha. His palace was glittering like Bhaskara, and he entered his palace. Ityashe Srimad Ramayana Valmiki Adikavye Chaturvimshati Sastrikayam Samhitayam Sundara Kande Masadvayadhikaranam Nama Dvavimsha Sarga Samapta. 22nd chapter concludes here. Okay. So the next chapter is about Rakshasi Prarochanam. So Ravana has given instruction to the Rakshasis. So we'll see how. It's a short sargam. I'm tempted to complete it. Provided we have energies now. Otherwise, we'll take it up in the next class. Okay. But this chapter is all about Masa Dvaya Vadhikaranam. How Sita once again tells Ravana that this is not what he should be doing. And you have seen the reaction of Ravana there. Right? He has ensured that Sita Mata is tortured not only when he is around, but also when he is not around. Right? He has ensured that all the Rakshasis who he has employed, they all deserve their salaries, isn't it? So he gives them very clear instructions again and again, like a good manager, right? And ensure that Sita Mata turns her head and heart towards me. That's the instruction he gives. And he departs back to his palace. So this will conclude our session here today, unless there is any closing remark or comment or question or whatever from anybody.
Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bharta Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bharta Samsara Chira Bhava Mukta Guru Charanambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Rakshasi Nija Hridayastam Evam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
कायेन वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीरामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghuji.
Thank you, Raghuji.